Usually when we sit down to do a deep dive, we're tackling something pretty abstract. Trends in tech, shifts in the global economy, that sort of thing.
The big picture stuff.
Exactly. But today, I want to start with something a little more visceral.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to picture your desktop computer. It's raining outside. Maybe it's a Tuesday. Work is just dragging. And then you see that little ad pop up.
The escape hatch.
The ultimate escape hatch. It's a photo of a pool villa, Phuket, Thailand.
Yeah.
The water is that impossible turquoise color. The palm trees are swaying.
Yeah.
And the price tag makes you stop.
Right.
You do the quick mental math and you think, wait a second, I could actually do that. I could trade this for that. It's the dream.
And that is precisely the moment the danger kicks in. Because what we found digging into this is that the Phuket property market seems almost designed to weaponize that exact daydream.
I'll weaponize it.
I mean, paradise is the product. But for anyone who doesn't know the landscape, the reality can be a financial bear trap.
And we aren't just talking about a little buyer's remorse. We're talking life savings vanishing. We're talking legal battles in a language you don't speak. And villas, literally don't exist.
Yeah.
So our mission today is to maybe ruin that daydream just a little bit.
Just enough to replace it with a solid strategy.
We're going to walk you through the specific mechanics of how foreign investors get taken for a ride in Phuket.
And to do that, we've got a very specific guide. We aren't just pulling stuff from forums here. This entire deep dive is based on intelligence from Ocean Worldwide.
That's a really crucial point. These aren't just YouTubers who moved there last year.
No.
Ocean Worldwide is a luxury real estate agency that has been on the ground in Phuket since 2004.
Think about that. They've been there through the tsunami, multiple coups, the global financial crisis, the pandemic.
That kind of longevity. It tells you something. In a market that can feel like the Wild West, you want a guide who knows where all the traps are buried.
And specifically, we're looking at insights from their director, Sandra O'Neill. She's seen thousands of these transactions over 2 decades. She's seen the same scams get a new coat of paint and come back again and again.
So let's get into it. Let's start with the first thing that hooks you. The listing itself.
The too good to be true trap. This is the bait.
I was looking at some examples that Ocean Worldwide flagged, and honestly, they're good. They're very convincing. You see a stunning 3-bedroom villa, sea view, infinity pool listed for, I don't know, $300,000.
And right next to it, on a reputable site, something that looks pretty similar is double that, $600,000.
And your brain just wants to believe you found the one secret deal.
Yeah.
You tell yourself, oh, maybe it's a distress sale, or the owner needs cash fast.
But Sandra O'Neill's team flags this as the #1 sign of a scam.
So what's actually going on here? Is the villa even real?
A lot of the time, no. It's a ghost house. It's just so easy now to scrape high-res photos from a real luxury listing in, say, Bali or Brazil, flip the image, Photoshop the background a bit.
And boom, you've got a fictional Phuket property.
Exactly.
But I don't get the end game. I mean, if I fly to Thailand and the house isn't there, haven't they just wasted their time?
But they're not banking on you flying there first. They're banking on urgency. You email them, and the reply is, we've had massive interest. This is priced to sell. If you want to secure it, we need a reservation fee. Now.
A deposit.
The deposit. Just $5,000, fully refundable, just to take it off the market while you book your flights. And because you think you're about to save $300,000 on the villa, risking $5,000 feels like a smart move.
And as soon as that wire transfer clears,
poof, the email address stops working. The WhatsApp number is disconnected. The listing is gone. It's a numbers game. They only need to catch a few people a month.
That's terrifying. Okay, but what if the property is real? Is there a version of this where the house actually exists?
Absolutely. That's the classic bait and switch. You land in Phuket, all excited. The agent picks you up. Halfway to the villa, they get a call.
Right. A fake call.
A very dramatic fake call. They hang up and say, oh, I am so sorry that unit just sold this morning. But good news. Since you're here, let me show you another amazing project just down the road.
Which is, I'm guessing, twice the price and not nearly as nice.
You got it. But now you're committed. You're in their car. You're in the country. They've got you.
So how do you filter this out? If I'm sitting in New York, how do I verify a listing thousands of miles away?
The advice from the source is all about live verification. Don't trust static photos, ever. In this day and age, there is zero excuse for an agent not to get on a video call, FaceTime, Zoom, whatever, and walk you through that property in real time.
So you basically direct them. Okay, now show me the view from the master bedroom. Open that cupboard, turn on the faucet.
Put them on the spot. If they start making excuses, oh, the tenant is sleeping, the owner has the only key, the security guard is on his lunch break.
Huge red flag.
Massive. A real agent with a real listing has access, period.
Yeah.
If they can't get you inside virtually or otherwise, you shouldn't send them $1.
Okay, that makes sense. So, step 1, demand that live tour. Now let's move on to the second trap, which feels even more insidious because it appeals to the investor in all of us. The guaranteed return.
Oh, this one is everywhere in resort markets. You see the billboards, 7% guaranteed ROI for 5 years.
Yeah, 10% net profit guaranteed. It looks like a safe bet, like buying a bond. I give you money for the condo, you give me a fixed check every year. Feels safer than the stock market.
But Ocean Worldwide makes it very clear this is actually far, far riskier.
Why?
Because you have to ask a simple question. Who is the one doing the guaranteeing? It's not a bank, it's not an insurance company, it's the developer.
So you're basically buying a corporate bond from a construction company.
Exactly. And if tourism slows down, like we saw during the pandemic, and that developer can't actually rent the unit out to cover your 10%, that guarantee just vanishes. If they go bankrupt, your guarantee is just a worthless piece of paper.
Okay, but let's say the developer is solvent. I'm still stuck on the math. I mean, how can they promise 10% returns when the actual rental market might only be yielding, say, 5 or 6%?
Yeah.
Where does that extra money come from?
And that is the real scam. The math doesn't work unless they've already baked it into the purchase price.
What do you mean?
Sandra O'Neill points this out. Say a condo's true market value is $100,000. They sell it to you for $150,000.
Okay.
They take that extra 50 grand, which is your own money, and they just give it back to you over 5 years, calling it your guaranteed profit.
So, I'm just paying myself back with my own cash and paying taxes on it.
Precisely. And the worst part is, when that guarantee period ends and you want to sell, you discover the property is only worth $100,000, not the $150,000 you paid. You're completely underwater.
That is just, it's so cynical.
So the takeaway is to just ignore the word guarantee. Look for projected returns based on real historical data. If they have to bribe you with a guarantee, it means the underlying asset probably isn't strong enough on its own.
Right. Verify the asset, not the promise.
Yeah.
And speaking of promises,
Yeah.
let's talk about buying off-plan, buying a dream that's still just a patch of dirt.
The ghost project. This is where the source says some of the biggest losses happen.
The appeal is obvious, though. You get in early, you get a better price, you get to pick the best unit from a glossy brochure.
And look, capital appreciation during construction can be a real thing, but in Thailand, you have to be so careful. The source material highlights one critical piece of paperwork, the EIA,
The EIA.
Environmental Impact Assessment. In Thailand, you cannot legally start building a large condo project until the government approves the EIA. It's a huge hurdle, but a lot of developers will start selling units and collecting deposits before they have that approval.
So you're buying a condo in a building that might be illegal to build.
Yes. And if the EIA gets rejected, maybe the building's too tall or too close to the beach, the entire project is dead in the water.
And getting your deposit back then.
Good luck with that.
So if you do want a new build, what's the safe way in? Ocean Worldwide talks about a milestone payment structure.
Yes. Never, ever pay 100% upfront. A safe contract is structured so you pay maybe 20% on signing. Then you don't pay another dime until the foundation is poured.
Then another chunk when the roof goes on.
Exactly. You tie your payments to actual visible construction milestones. If they stop building, you start paying. It limits your exposure. If a developer needs 80% upfront, it's a huge red flag that they're using your money to fund the project.
Okay, let's wade into the really deep end now, the legal stuff. Because I think this is where even savvy people can get tripped up. The fundamental rule is, foreigners can't own land in Thailand.
Correct. You can own the building, the structure itself, but not the dirt it sits on. Your name cannot go on that land title deed, the shenote, as a freehold owner.
So how are all these foreigners owning villas? I keep hearing about Thai company ownership.
And this is the great gray zone scam. A dodgy agent will tell you, no problem. We set up a Thai company. The company buys the land, you own the company. Simple.
It does sound simple.
But it's a trap. For a company to be legally Thai and own land, it has to be 51% owned by Thai nationals.
So, I pay for $1 million piece of land, but I only own 49% of the company that owns it. Who owns the other 51?
That's the problem. They use nominees. They'll just pay a few locals. Sometimes it's the cleaner in their office, a small fee to sign their name as a majority shareholder. These people have no real investment.
But they have the majority vote.
They have majority vote, and the Thai government is cracking down on this. If they investigate and find your shareholders are just nominees, they can force the company to be dissolved. You lose everything.
But what's the safe legal alternative? A leasehold.
A leasehold, a 30-year lease, is 100% legal. It's protected. It's recognized by the government.
30 years can feel a little short, though, if it's a retirement plan.
Well, they usually come with renewal options, so it's often structured as 30 plus 30 plus 30. But here is the most critical detail about leases that Ocean Worldwide hammers home: registration.
What do you mean by registration?
In Thailand, any lease over 3 years must be registered at the official land department. It gets physically stamped onto the back of the land title deed.
And if it's not registered?
If you just have a private contract with the landlord, even if it says 30 years, it's only legally enforceable for 3.
Wait, really? So a landlord could take my money for a 30-year lease and then legally kick me out after 3 years if it wasn't registered?
Correct. They count on foreigners not knowing the law.
Wow. Okay, this really shows you need a professional team. You can't just wing it. Which brings us to agents and lawyers.
The gatekeepers.
With agents, is it like in the West where they're licensed and regulated?
Not really. That's the Wild West part. Anyone can print a business card and call themselves a real estate agent in Phuket.
So how do you vet them?
Sandra O'Neill has a simple checklist. First, do they have a physical brick-and-mortar office? If they only want to meet in coffee shops, that's a bad sign.
It means they can disappear easily.
Second, ask for their company registration papers. And third, just look at their track record. How long have they been in business? In a market like this, surviving for a decade means you're not burning your clients.
Okay, so you find a good agent. You find a property.
Yeah.
Now, the lawyer, I assume you don't just use the one the developer recommends.
Never. Absolutely never.
Yeah.
That is a huge conflict of interest. Their job is to protect the developer, not you.
And my lawyer from back home is no good either.
Useless. You need a specialist, independent, Thai property lawyer. Their only job is to be your detective.
And what are they detecting?
They're verifying the Shinote.
Right, the Shinote. Explain that.
The Shinote is the gold standard of land titles in Thailand. It's the one that proves undisputed ownership with GPS-marked boundaries. A good lawyer takes the original Shinote, not a copy, to the land department.
Why?
Because forgeries are a real thing. People will Photoshop them. The lawyer checks the original against the government's records, checks for any mortgages or lands on the property, and make sure the land isn't, say, in a protected national park.
It sounds like an expense, but compared to losing your entire investment.
It is the best insurance you can possibly buy. It's non-negotiable.
One last practical rule from Ocean Worldwide before we wrap up. They called it the golden rule of transferring money.
Yes. If you remember nothing else, remember this. Never, ever transfer money to a personal bank account.
Not even the managing director's personal account.
Especially not then. If anyone tells you, oh, just wire the deposit to Mr. Somchai's savings account, you stop everything. Legitimate transactions must go to a registered corporate business account.
It leaves a paper trail.
It's the only thing that gives you legal standing. Sending money to a personal account is legally considered a gift. It's almost impossible to get back.
Okay, let's zoom out. We have covered a lot of, frankly, scary scenarios here. Is the takeaway just don't buy property in Phuket?
Not at all. The takeaway is don't buy like a tourist. Phuket is an amazing market. The lifestyle is incredible. The returns can be great. But you have to treat it with the seriousness it deserves.
It's about changing your mindset from buying a holiday souvenir to making a major international investment in a foreign legal system.
Exactly. And you need a good navigator. We really have to thank Ocean Worldwide for providing the roadmap for this deep dive.
Absolutely. If you're seriously considering this, you need to go with someone who's been through the cycles. Sandra O'Neill and her team at Ocean Worldwide have been helping investors do this safely since 2004.
They have a ton of information on their site. You can find verified, safe listings and more detail on the legal side of things at oceanwwp.com. That's oceanwwp.share.ngol.
Definitely a site to bookmark. Now, to leave you with a final thought, a question to ask yourself before you sign on any dotted line.
It's all about the idea of market value. Back home, you probably have a decent sense of what a property is worth. But in a foreign country, who is telling you the price?
Usually, the person who's trying to sell it to you.
Exactly. And so you have to ask yourself, if the only person verifying the price is the person who gets a commission from that price, can you really call it market value? Or are you just funding someone else's retirement?
That is a very sobering thought.
Yeah.
If you aren't getting an independent valuation, you're flying completely blind.
Don't fly blind. Do your homework.
Thanks for listening to The Deep Dive. We'll see you next time.